Well, Bert Baum is with us today. He is on the board of Third, and last week they had their meeting. Today he's going to talk about some of the topics that they went through at that meeting and a lot of different things. There were a lot of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good to see you, sir.
Nice to see you. Nice to be here.
So several things that were talked about during the meeting were some things that were held over from the previous month and some new go forward, some new ones as well.
So I'd like to talk about both.
Yeah, well, please, let's start with the alteration standards.
Okay. First, let me make two comments.
Sure.
I'm here for the other Bert. You know, there are two Berts on the board, and this gets very confusing. I spell my name the right way with a U. It's B-U. He spells his B-E. Bert has the flu, and he's still getting over it. So I'm trying to fill in for Bert. So I'm not going to talk about energy. So we had our meeting. We had our meeting this Tuesday, as we always do, third Tuesday. And what was really interesting is there were no member comments.
That's right, there wasn't.
No, and so far as I can remember, this is a first. So I felt, boy, everybody out there is really happy now. We have no problems until I read the letters to the Globe. And I must tell our listeners and our residents, it's really important to realize that there's a disclosure on the bottom of the letters to the Globe, by the Globe, which indicates that they don't investigate any of the data, any of the information in those letters. And I will tell you that those letters often contain misinformation. So if you really want to know what's going on, read The Breeze. Okay, I'm the editor of the third section of The Breeze. You can get it online, or you can get hard copies in the clubhouses. And what this does is give you the board's activity written by board and staff members. So talk to your neighbor, but don't necessarily listen to what he has to say. So, and that's a real problem. So during the board meeting, we discussed 5 major topics. I hope I can get through them today. First was alteration standards, as you said, and then we have a new policy on mandatory water heater replacement if you sell your unit. We have a pest control policy, which is important for interior pests. We have a policy now on trellis removal, and we've also suspended the yellow stake program. So I hope I can get into it with you. All right, in terms of alteration standards, we actually voted on, we passed a new one for bathroom splits. That's for people who have one bathroom in their manor and want to divide it into 2. And there's certain restrictions on what you can do. And so you have to know our alteration standards. And one of the most easiest way to do it is to visit them. They were going in this building in the community center. You can go to the first floor. They're now going to have their own office. And Kurt Wieman, who is the manager of permits, inspections, and restorations, he's really doing a bang-up job. He's new. He's running barefoot through all our standards and updating them. That's why we have so many standards during the meeting. And he and his staff are very happy to explain what you need to do when you go through the alteration process. And we have a general requirements, and if you go online, you can see this. And if you go in the office, they will help you along, and they're coming up with this bulletin, member guidelines for alterations. So,
yeah, we've had Kurt on not too long ago.
Okay,
and we went through that.
I'm sure he went through that. And the other ones that we worked on was the care and maintenance of patio balconies and breezeways, exterior doors, exterior floor coverings, and wrought iron fences. Now, this is now in a 30-day holding period, and what you have to, many people don't realize is when we introduce a new resolution, we discuss it first, and then there's a 30-day holding period in which residents and whoever can make comments, and we can modify it and then come back and actually vote on it. And we also introduced during that meeting 2 new alteration standards. One is for gates and one is for patio slabs. And I don't know if Kurt has talked to you about that. But one thing we would like to stress, and that is when you hire a contractor, be really careful. Do a lot of due diligence. Make sure they're registered. And also, and this is something a lot of residents don't understand, residents are responsible for the conduct of anybody they invite into the community. And we have problems with that. And if you have a contractor, he should realize what the rules are, and he is responsible to you as the resident for obeying them. If he doesn't, and you can be brought in for a hearing for some abuse, like noise, smoking, particularly how he disposes of the waste, parking. If that happens, we call in the resident, and the resident is responsible and can be fined. So please be careful. Make sure the contractor is registered and that you know him and you feel comfortable working with him and you have this understanding.
Yeah, that's very true.
Okay.
And I know that all you folks from both Third and United have said that over and over again.
Yes, yes. And we have a lot of people coming in here new who don't realize that too. So please listen to what we have to say, okay? And the next thing we passed was a mandatory water heater replacement. That sounds like a lot when you resell your manor. And what's interesting about this policy is that it lays out what anyone needs to do if they want to get a new water heater. And that's another issue that's very complex. And we have problems with water heaters. I had it myself. Please check your water heater. Make sure that they're still in warranty. And usually the warranty is 10 years. If in fact the water heater leaks after warranty, then you are responsible. If you have it in your garage, that's common area, and it leaks, if it's over 10 years, you have to pay for any of the damages. And I can tell you it cost me $1,500 because I didn't realize my water heater was 12 years old and it was a 10-year warranty. So this is a big problem. During 2016, we had 33 leaks from water heaters, averaging $1,700 in an occurrence, $85,000 total. So what we want people to do, this is effective in 2019, is when they sell, they're ready to sell their manor, they have to get an inspection. They can call resident services. They will come out. You have to pay for that inspection. They'll look at it and decide if it has to be replaced. If it is, you must do that. And the cost for the whole operation is actually withheld from your escrow when you move.
Okay.
So, and you have 2 options. You can do it in-house as in chargeable services, or you can go outside. But you have to make sure that the outside contractor realizes all the restrictions and what he has to do. And particularly, there's a device that's required by the city. You have to get a city permit. This device is a shut-off, automatic shut-off device. At one time, the original one was very expensive, and now they have a cheaper device, so it won't cost you as much.
So if someone wants to go through chargeable services, staff will come in, replace the water heater. It's all done. It's under warranty.
With the
you don't have to
device,
worry.
and you pay for that. And that's the way I did it.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to go, because then there's no worries involved.
They did a bang-up job. But
Very
that's responsibility of the owner.
Yeah, very nice to have that
Yes,
service. Yeah.
yes, and it's spelled out, and you can see it. If you go to the agenda packet, you can see them online. And that has much more information, actually, than the minutes, because it will actually have the report, staff report. It will have all the accompanying data for
Right.
that particular policy or resolution, okay? Next thing we looked at was a pest control policy, interior. We've had a problem with bed bugs in the community. You know, I'm sure people realize there have been bed bugs all over this country. It's been an outbreak in various cities. Well, we've had some here, and it's a particular problem when it gets into the 3-story buildings, because then it can spread to the other manors, units in that particular building. So what we've passed is, this is an interior pest control requirement. If you have bugs, particularly bed bugs, you are responsible for any interior infestations except for termites. If you have bed bugs, please call Resident Services. I'm sure you have the number. It's relatively handy. I can give it to you again. I think it's, well, I'll give it to you right now. It's 597-4600. They will send out someone to inspect, and if in fact you have bed bugs, you are required to get a professional pesticide company in 72 hours to treat it. And then you must, after 5 days, the operation must be complete, and you must provide a receipt to our M&C group to make sure that this has actually been done. And if you don't do it, you will be subject to a fine. And this has been a big problem. So we want people to act quickly. We want to cooperate with them. We want to make sure this is no longer a big issue in the community.
Okay, very good.
Next thing we looked at is our trellises. You know, these wooden structures?
Yeah.
If you have the original trellis, and they were made of wood, it turns out they're a real problem in terms of dry rot.
Sure, yeah.
And we want to get rid of dry rot. We spend over $1 million a year on that. That's an ongoing problem. So what we are now proposing to our residents, we have a prior to paint program. Before your exterior is painted, there's another group that comes in and prepares your manor for this operation. When this occurs, you'd be notified, if you have a trellis, that you have the opportunity for us at no charge to remove that trellis. And this benefits you and it benefits us, because in fact, if you have dry rot and it's attached to the building, it's possible for that dry rot to move into the members of that structure.
Right. Yeah.
And we want to stop that. So we're offering this as an opportunity now for this trellis to be removed, particularly, and it has to be the original one and not connected to an awning and posts that are embedded in a new type of construction. So there's some limitations, but we will do this. And then afterwards, if you want, you can put up your own trellis at your cost, but it has to be non-wood. We are restricting the use of wood in this community as much as we can as an effort to do that, okay? And the last thing we looked at is the Yellow Stake program. And a lot of people don't realize that this program even exists. And the problem is, over the years, it's been kind of up and down. There's been a lot of abuses. I think there was a market in hot yellow steaks. In fact, I mentioned that Kramer probably came in here with a truckload of them, eager to sell them. So we want to stop that. We don't want to restrict our residents unnecessarily. We realize, you know, that they may feel that way, but there are really good reasons for why we do this, okay? So what were the problems? First of all, a lot of these, and what is Yellow Stake? This is where residents are allowed to maintain their own plantings and
Right.
landscapings, and it's in the common area, which is now a big issue. And they have a yellow stake that was distributed by our landscape department that they put next to the particular plant, which means they're going to maintain it and they have the okay to have this. But what was happening is these yellow stakes were mysteriously moving around, they were disappearing. People who had these plants were overwatering, and you know, we're have a little rain, but we're in a drought situation now, and we're trying to limit that. And all the water that's used in the community, the mutual pays for. There are no individual meters except in the Gate
That's true.
11 area. And that costs us money, and you pay for it through your assessments. So we want to limit that. And the fact that it's in the common area, we are now really cracking down on that. We do not allow any expansion into the common area. So we're looking at this, and we're going to decide what we have to do. In the meantime, if you already have a yellow stake, fine, but we're not distributing anymore.
Okay, very good. And if people want to find out more about this, the replay of the third meeting, you can watch it online on our YouTube channel. If you don't want to do that, it will be replayed on Wednesday at 6 o'clock.
Right, and you can also go to Granicus.
That's right. And when you go to Granicus, you can actually look at the agenda and click on the topic you want, and it'll go right there.
Right, and it's really cool, so try it out.
All right, good to see you. I like
Nice
the
to
comment
see you.
about Kramer with the yellow stake. That would have been a good episode. People don't know we're talking about Seinfeld, so
You're right.
yeah, that would have been something he would have
Right,
done.
it may be coming up. So.
Yeah, very good. Good to see you.
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back.
Thank you.